In the last episode of The Time Compass, traces of the legendary Maya civilization still exist today, as do the mysteries they left behind. The Maya were very advanced, with an incredible understanding of mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and art. Then one day, the Maya civilization mysteriously started to decline for reasons that are still unknown, and eventually disappeared altogether. Evidence of the ancient Maya remained hidden from modern civilization for centuries, buried beneath thick tropical vegetation. It wasn't until very recently that some explorers and archaeologists began to discover the incredible ruins of ancient Mayan cities. These finds surprised the world and helped us to learn even more about one of the most complex and refined cultures in America. The Time Compass. The Maya, Part 2. The Popol Vuh is the holy book of the Quiche people, who are descended from the Maya. It tells the tale of how the gods Tepa and Guacuamats became the gods of creation. Earth, they said, and the earth was created in an instant by magic. Then they created animals, deer, birds, jaguars, and snakes. But because these creatures did not know how to talk, they could not pray to their god creators. So the gods decided to condemn them to having their flesh be sacrificed and eaten. Faced with the failure of their first creation, the gods came up with another being, and this time they did it with dirt and mud. But the simple dirt and mud creation fell apart. It was soft and did not have any movement or strength, and when it was in the water, it could not stand upright. Tepa and Guacuamats were disappointed, but they tried yet again. They asked some fortune tellers about how to make a man, and were told, you have to put some wood together, and this has to be carved by the creator. So they made wooden dolls. But without hearts or understanding, they couldn't remember their creator and wandered aimlessly. The gods were furious and sent a great flood of rain onto the earth. The wooden people desperately ran from one side to the other, and many were caught up in the flood, while others found protection in the trees. And so another attempt had to be made. Okay, this time we're going to get it right. Finally, the gods created human beings who were intelligent, obedient, and respectful of their gods. And this is how the Maya believed humans came to be. The ball game. One way the Maya had of pleasing their gods was by playing a ball game. Welcome once again to the Mayan ball game. It's not like any game you've seen before. The competitors have to get this heavy cork ball into this stone ring, which is placed on the wall. This may sound easy, but there's more. Listen to this. To move the ball, you couldn't use your hands or your feet. You could only hit the ball with your shoulders, knees, and hips. This game really is a matter of life and death. For the winning team, glory and fame. And for the losing team, well, the losers are sacrificed and used to honor the gods. We lost. Best 2 out of 3? Documenting the past. Who are these carved men in stone? Why are those others at their feet wearing masks? What mysteries are hidden behind these symbols the Maya carved so long ago? Mayan artists spent a great deal of time immortalizing great moments of their history so that future generations would be able to better understand them and know their history. One example can be found in these frescoes, dating from 790 AD, discovered in the city of Bainampak. In them, we can see elaborately decorated warriors facing other figures who are almost naked. These frescoes depict valiant Mayan warriors in triumph, overcoming their enemies. But the Maya did not only leave a record of their history through paintings, they also created a system of writing based on these square-shaped symbols we call glyphs. Glyphs could represent things, animals, or gods, as well as thoughts and ideas. And Mayan scribes combined them to form short phrases. Using these symbols, the Maya were able to record parts of their history and the workings of their society. How? Well, let's look carefully at these carvings. Each element carved in the stone has a meaning. For example, these people facing each other were kings. Here we can see that one of them is handing over power to his successor. And in the details, we can see all their thoughts carved around their heads.
Hey, it's like an ancient Mayan comic book.
We are still finding out more about the Maya by reading these inscriptions.
Outdoor living should be livable. At Home Hardware's Outdoor Living Sale, you'll find everything you need. Save 40% on Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Ultra Cover Spray Paint. Available now at Home Hardware and Building Centers. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
When I perform, I don't limit myself or my makeup because it's easy to remove even heavy makeup like a pro. With Nivea Micellar Expert for 0% greasy residue and clean, feel-good skin that breathes. From Nivea.
Mysterious disappearance. Despite its brilliance, the Maya civilization came to a sudden and puzzling end. Around the year 900 AD, all of their cities were mysteriously abandoned. Some of the Mayan people went deep into the jungle, while others traveled to the Yucatan, where they created new cities, such as Chichen Itza, Mayapan, and Uxmal. We don't know why the Maya abandoned their cities, but some modern-day investigators have this theory. During the final years, a group of ambitious governors started to look down upon the wisdom of their ancestors. They became less interested in math and science, and were only concerned with increasing their military power and conquering neighboring cities. These wars caused much death and destruction. And then, a few years of drought created a shortage of food. The survivors had to abandon their homes in search of food and peace. When the Spanish arrived in 1527, there were only a few weakened cities left. The Spanish had come to conquer the Maya, but even in their weakened state, the Maya were able to put up a strong fight. Also, the Maya had no central government to conquer, no one king to overthrow. This meant that the Spanish had to defeat each city one by one. It was 200 years before the Maya were finally conquered. From their humble beginnings to their peak of power to their mysterious decline, the Maya were one of the most amazing and sophisticated peoples in pre-Columbian America. Let's dig a little deeper with our time compass and find out what else was going on around the world at that time. What was happening in Europe while the Spanish were conquering the weakened city-states of the Maya on the Yucatan Peninsula? At that very same moment, Europe was experiencing the peak of one of the most decisive transformations of its history, its rebirth during the Renaissance.
Rebirth? You mean it came back from the dead like some sort of zombie?
Well, not exactly. You see, the Renaissance was the rebirth of the ideas, art, and knowledge that had made the ancient civilizations of Greece and Rome so amazing. Throughout the 15th and 16th centuries, Europeans were renewing their passion for learning and discovery. These radical changes in the way people thought and learned marked the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of our modern world. Some believed that the Renaissance began in Italy, when intellectuals, artists, and scientists began to question the strict religious teachings that had stopped the growth of learning. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453 at the hands of the Ottoman Turks, many ancient Greek manuscripts began to arrive in Italy. A short time later, a German named Johann Gutenberg invented the first movable type printing press. It helped to print a greater quantity of books at a lower cost, which meant that these new ideas were accessible to a greater number of people. Some discoveries made at that time were difficult to accept by the clergy and authorities, such as the one made by a scientist named Nicolaus Copernicus. After his death in 1543, one of his books was published entitled De Revolutionibus Orbium Celestium. In it, he explains how he discovered that the Earth orbits the Sun. This idea, which is so common today, was a real challenge, because until then, everyone had believed that the Earth was the center of the universe.